I need a 30 for 30 to show that I'm different like Jordan and Pippen, you bitch. I need a 30 for 30 like Jalen and Webber. Nobody gon' fuck on my clique. I need a 30 for 30.
All right, the fight that we thought was gonna be the one that everybody was talking about actually featured two ring legends, Mike Tyson, who is in most people's top 10 in terms of greatest heavyweights of all time, and Roy Jones Jr., who probably also is in everybody's pound for pound all time list, top 10, got to be. I would say so, because he was definitely the pound for pound guy in the 90s. And then he moved up all them weight classes. So he got to be an all-time pound for pound guy. But we know Mike Tyson is the one that generates the most buzz. So that's who we want to talk about. Is old Mike. And y'all know one thing we do best here is do this goddamn GOAT talk. So I want to know where y'all boys got Mike Tyson rated at in terms of the guys you've seen in your life. I know a lot of my youngers, they like to give me Mike Tyson as the GOAT. They ain't even watch no boxing, but they just be going off the narrative that people say. You know what I'm saying? But some people that have seen Mike say, hey, that's the baddest man on the planet that I've ever seen. So what y'all think? Clay, we're going to start with you, dog.
Well, man, it kind of depends on what Mike we talking about, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? To me, like that's what I say. To me, Customato Mike, him, that was the Mike that I would say, if people say the GOAT, I'm going with that Mike. Because that was a focused Mike. That was a I ain't crazy. I'm trained Mike. Like my mind focused on certain stuff, Mike. He's still doing crazy stuff, but Cus can reel him in. That Mike to me, I gotta say, I ain't gonna say he the GOAT because I don't even like saying that because I mean, me personally, I think Mike could have knocked out Ali, just be real. Like, that's me because a lot of people when they say like as far as fighting wise, they'll be like, well, Mike was too slow to fool with Ali. And I'm like, bro, did y'all not watch like the Mike we was watching? Like this man was lightning quick and had power. Like it wasn't like he was a foreman who was just, okay, I'm gonna swing and hit you and I got heavy hands, but you know what I'm saying, but you can, outmaneuver me and this and the third. Mike was like lightning quick too. So that's why I'm saying, like, if we talking about that Mike, then I really can't put him in the GOAT. I'm just saying, like, that Mike to me, you could argue and say a GOAT type of boxer. But like as far as like overall, Mike, all the stages of life he went through, I don't think you could put him in the GOAT like the GOAT argument. You can say he was like one of the top top 5 heavyweights. You want to say that? Like if you want to say that, but I mean it's like Mike took too many L's later on in his life, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess he had that Roy Jones effect to where he was so good that a lot of great boxers that he was fighting just didn't look as good because he was so dominant. But I mean, to me, like as far as GOAT wise, I gotta lean with Ali. But I mean, if somebody want to argue and say both of them in their primes, who you think will win and who you want to say is the GOAT, like is outside of record, just off of like, okay, skill, like we put these dudes together. To me, I can lean with somebody saying that he could be the GOAT, he can knock Ali out. Cause I mean, that's who, if we talking about GOATs, heavyweight wise, I mean, that's what we really talking about. But to me, I don't think Ali would serve him like that. I think Mike would serve him. So I mean, Customato Mike to me could be the closest if you want to say a GOAT. The rest of the career, Mike, I really can't lean on it because he was impressive, but later on he started telling off, and then later on, and outside stuff kind of took away a lot of years in Mike. A lot of stuff that he was doing outside of the ring kind of impacted his GOAT legacy, if you want to say it like that.
Joe, what you think? Who you got?
All right, y'all gonna have to go with me for a moment, though. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Talk
I don't think Mike can beat everybody. It's only, I mean, I know he got losses, but I think he would probably lose. And I don't know what we witnessed not too long ago with Nate Robinson. Tyson Fury probably would beat Mike Tyson. Because it looks like, the white people knock black people out right now. Also, Tyson Fury got the name Tyson up in there.
He named after Mike Tyson.
Oh, Well, Mike would lose.
His dad had said that Mike Tyson was his favorite heavyweight, so that's why he named.
So that explains.
Yeah.
But nah, for real, I'm gonna go with Mike. As Clay said, we got to talk about which Mike we're going with. I have to go with Mike Tyson. He had his own video game. That's first.
They didn't have video games back then with Jack Johnson, Joe Louis, and Muhammad Ali, man.
Well, they weren't born at the right time.
Dang. Hey, dude.
You gotta talk to their parents about that. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm going with Mike. Now, as Clay said, I want the Mike that was knocking everybody out, not the one that tried to get his doctor to say the reason he lost is because his back was broke. Not that Mike. I don't want them. This is what I say. Give me the Mike that was not sane, because that's the one that was knocking everybody out. Once he became sane and conscious, he started losing. So I don't want that Mike. But give me the vicious Mike. The walk around with tigers. Plus, Mike, think all the Mikes are great. Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson. You got to go with Mike.
T, get in here. Cadell right
here. It's still Ali for me. I mean, it's still Ali for me.
Where you got Tyson at in your, like, is he outside your 10? Is he in your 10? Is he in your 5?
And we talking everybody, heavyweights, welterweights, everybody.
Oh no, just the heavyweight division.
I'm gonna say Rocky Marciano.
Okay,
just the heavyweight division.
This one here, Rocky Marciano.
That's they one. Now it might be some of your Italian cousins then, Joe, who see this and say that we need to be considering Rocky Marciano 49-0. They might be saying it.
Right.
Yeah. I'm gonna put him. I'm gonna put Tyson. He's in my 5, I believe.
Okay.
It's hard sometimes though, because I saw this man chew on Evander Holyfield's ear and then get knocked out too. So I've seen both. And it's like,
what?
Blue Chew. He on bluechew.com. For all y'all that don't know, promo bluechew.com. Oh, by the way. But now,
get together.
Tyson is in my 5. I know a lot of people like to kind of, and like Clay was saying, give me towel Tyson, give me just towel to the ring Tyson, and that kind of stuff. I mean, the early Tyson with the black shorts and the eyebrows, and that whole fear that you had of Tyson. But I still got Ali 1. Tyson for me probably is. I'm gonna probably put him in 4 or 5. I hadn't really made no list, but I'd probably put him about 4 or 5. Truthfully, for me. I mean, man, Ali was just special. I mean, I know he probably stayed around too long, and I know he lost to Norton, I know he lost to Frazier, but man, that dude was a warrior. There's just no other way I can put it, man. That dude was a warrior. And also, I just want to plug too. If your ass is ever in Louisville, and I've told my brother Wells, you get your ass to Louisville. All of y'all. That museum is great. There ain't no other way to put it. You probably gonna have to spend 2 days at that museum because you cannot get all that museum in one day. It's great, man. But yeah, Ali though. I got Ali at 1. I mean, but Tyson, he's in my 5. He's in my 5. He's at the bottom 5. He probably 5. I'm gonna say 5. I'm gonna make Tyson 5.
Yeah, y'all gotta know now. I fuck with Tyson long way. I fuck with Tyson. He's one of my favorites. You know what I'm saying? Probably my second favorite fighter behind Ali. I fuck with him outside of the ring and everything. You know what I'm saying? But going back watching all these guys, so I've watched all of Mike Tyson career. I watched all of George Foreman career, most of Joe Frazier that I could find, most of Joe Louis, all the Jack Johnson I could find, and of course I watched all the Ali. And Sonny Liston. I checked out Sonny Liston too. I don't know, man. I don't know. He in my 10. But the way Tyson, the hold that Tyson got on the culture, that motherfuckers paid whatever they paid to watch that motherfucker get in there with 51-year-old, at 54 years old, with the 51-year-old Roy Jones. And Roy basically, y'all saw what Roy did. Roy was hugging Mike the whole fucking fight because Roy didn't want to take them licks. Hey, that's smart, Roy. You got your payday. And Roy threw the little no-look jab every once in a while and got out the way. But basically, it was a snuggle fest. They really, Mike didn't get a chance to really put no hands out there. Partly, though, because Mike's so damn short. They got Mike listed at 5'10". A lot of folks say Mike 5'9". And in the heavyweight division, most time Mike was facing guys 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", all these guys. And we saw what happened when he played. You don't play boxing. We saw what happened when he fought elite tall guys. He got his ass blasted. Like Lennox Lewis, that dude's so tall. And Mike, well trained. He know how to snip. He know how to goddamn get in there. Them boys too tall, man, with that jab. So, one of y'all pull it for me, man. Mike Tyson's fight list. All right. And I want y'all and America to tell me which one of Tyson's wins, which of his wins would you say was over a notable guy? A guy that when you think about the heavyweight division, you say, okay, oh yeah, that's a guy I know. And you say, oh, Tyson beat him. Okay?
I got you here.
All right, so let's take a look. All right, so we had to begin. I'm gonna make it bigger. All right. Let's see here.
That's Tyson.
All right, so let me get this off here. All right, so y'all tell me when you see a guy that you say, okay, Mike beat a guy that's notable. And I'm gonna be quiet.
Michael Johnson. He was a great Olympic.
Hush.
Mitch Green.
Right.
Yeah, Miss Green. That one.
Miss Blood Green wasn't no notable guy, man.
You get knocked out like that, you ain't gonna be notable no more.
Man, y'all don't know that, man. There ain't no legend. There ain't no guy that's
ain't no legends now.
He ain't beating out one legend.
I'm saying this what I was saying. Like
Burbick ain't nobody.
Back, like, what Spinks? Ain't Spinks' little brother on there?
Michael Spinks right here. 31-0 at the time.
Michael Spinks was straight.
He was straight, but he ain't like these numbers.
It was like with Roy Jones. It was some decent boxers, but Roy was so special on that time.
Roy B. Hopkins.
Larry Holmes was up there too.
Larry Holmes?
Hold on, that's an old ass Holmes. Where I am and studying Larry Holmes, he 35 years old and he ain't even fought Tyson yet. Okay.
Muhammad Ali told Tyson to whoop Larry Holmes ass.
Yeah, just like Larry Holmes beat Muhammad Ali when Muhammad Ali was past too far gone. So that was that same kind of situation there.
Gotcha.
That's that Tupac Larry Holmes looking all old and flapping.
Yeah, Pac wrong for that line. I don't know why he did that, man, like that. All right, T, stop about right up in there. All right, now, when you get to the guys that we know of, that we be talking about as all-time greats, you get to Holyfield.
Yeah.
Whooped him twice. Yep. Part of the reason he say he bit him, at first he was like, the man headbutting me, I got frustrated. But I saw another interview, he said, I went ahead and bit your ass because I knew I couldn't beat you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Holyfield dominated his ass. With no Lennox Lewis, the other guy who was dominating in the division during Mike's reign, dominated him. Mike was a part of one of the greatest upsets in the history of sports. In the history of all of sports. Yeah. So when I look at it like that, I'm like, man, folks really be enamored by them knockouts in them 80s and shit. And he was knocking motherfuckers out in the 90s too once he got out of jail. But he wasn't knocking out motherfuckers that we really know about. You know what I'm saying? Like, in comparison. All right, who got Larry Holmes for me?
I got it.
Larry Holmes, for those of y'all, if you know the fight game, America, you know about Larry Holmes. But for those of y'all that don't, Larry Holmes was the guy that basically took over the reign of the heavyweight division after Muhammad Ali. So it'd be like after Michael Jordan left the league, how when Kobe took over. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a great comparison because just like Kobe, as I like to say, and not as a diss, because I love Kobe, I like to say that Kobe was like Diet Mike. Like he did everything Mike did, but just not as good as Mike. That's kind of how Larry Holmes was. Larry Holmes would dance around. He would throw the left jab. He would throw the right cross. That's the kind of shit that Muhammad Ali did. Now, he wasn't as charismatic as Ali, of course, but he was a lot like Muhammad Ali. Now, he never really got his credit, partly because he didn't beat a lot of top-notch guys, but he does have some better wins on his list than Mike Tyson does. If you go up, who that? JoJo got that?
Yeah.
All right, so you see he's starting out like most heavyweights do. They start him out with some so-called bums. They're just trying to build the fighters up and shit. But you'll see as JoJo gets on up here that eventually he won his title from a guy who you do know of, who's a notable champion, and that's Ken Norton. And this is one of the greatest fights in the heavyweight history. It's on YouTube. If you haven't seen that, America, you need to go watch Larry Holmes versus Ken Norton. Great overall fight and got one of the greatest rounds ever. That round 15. They were still going 15 back then. All right. So he beat Ken Norton, and you'll see up here now. Mike Weaver did put him on his ass. All right. Mike Weaver put him on his ass, but he got up and whooped his ass, though. I saw Muhammad Ali got knocked down by Henry Cooper, for instance. You know what I'm saying? The no-name British fighter. But Larry Holmes beat Ernest Shavers. America, if you don't know Ernest Shavers, he is one of the hardest hitting heavyweights in history. Yes, Tyson is one of them as well, George Foreman. But outside them boys, you probably going to say Ernest Shavers would knock your fucking head off. And Larry Holmes didn't beat him once, he beat him twice. So he got 3 at least notable wins on there. He held the title for forever, it seemed like. I ain't that now. The Ali win, Ali shouldn't have been in there. Nope. But now, y'all say Mike Tyson beat Burbick. Larry Holmes beat Burbick as well. And he beat Leon Spinks, who Leon had beat Ali when Ali shouldn't have been fighting then either, but he did beat Ali. Ali came back and beat him. You see what I'm saying? So it's like Larry Holmes beat everybody Tyson beat in the 80s, and he beat Ken Norton, Ernest Shavers, and he didn't have no stunning upset during his prime like Mike did. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he was not exciting. Now, that Randall Cobb fight, though, see, you being silly, but that Randall Cobb fight was actually real notable because Holmes had fought a motherfucker named Jerry Cooney, who was the great white hope of his time. Big ass white boy who undefeated. They put him in there with Holmes, hoping Holmes was gonna lose. Holmes beat the shot that man. Not spectacularly like Mike Tyson did, but he beat his ass. But Randall Cobb, also called Tex Cobb, was another big white boy, white hope. And Larry Holmes beat that motherfucker so bad that what's the goddamn legendary Howard Cosell stopped talking during the fight. Howard Cosell, after that fight, refused to cover boxing anymore, testified before Congress that the shit was too dangerous. They had a slew of deaths at the time and all that kind of shit. The WBC changed the shit from 15 rounds for a title fight to 12 after Larry Holmes beat the fuck out of Randall Cobb. Like this man, the truth. But he wasn't sexy. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have the black trunks, and you know what I'm saying? He didn't come out there and knock your ass out. He might decision your ass. He might knock you out, but you might get a TKO from a cut or something, or shit like that. So it might be a ninth round knockout rather than Tyson gonna put your ass down in the first. So I just feel like guys like him don't get their fucking credit, bro.
They don't.
They don't get their credit.
And this what I was alluding to, like it's them different stages of Mike. You see what I'm saying? Like the Mike the early Mike, like before he started getting into it with like the rape and going to jail and all that type of stuff. Like the Mike that I like is with Customato, because you know what I'm saying? Like he developed that style for him.
But like even that early Mike though, he's still so short though, Clay.
Yeah, but I'm saying the most of the people that we see him losing to, like Frank Bruno was like 6'5", but he beat the shit out of Frank Bruno.
But there's another guy like Bone Crusher Smith. that guy, he wasn't able to just get him out of there. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
them guys were holding him because Mike got to get to the inside to get his damage, do his damage. And once he get in the inside, them folks ain't crazy. This ain't MMA. They gonna hold your ass.
Yeah.
And
see, that's why I was saying, like, even like with the later fights, because like Holyfield's short too. You know what I'm saying? Well, I ain't say he's short, but you know what I'm saying? He not just like no 6'5" type of dude.
But he had that courage though, and Michael admitted. And that's why he said Mike don't think he'll beat Ali, because he said Ali would die in that bitch.
Yeah, he ain't gonna give up. And see, that's why I was saying, like, them later fights that we start seeing them lose, like to the like the later years, Mike was done. Like I was saying, like when he left, I'm gonna say probably when he left Customato, he was still kind of alright, but it was like, yeah, you know, he started going on that downward path, because it was like the skill was there, but it was like, okay, who can reel Mike in and make Mike focus and be for real about it? It's like with the Buster Douglas fight. He was like, I ain't trained. You see what I'm saying? He was like, I ain't trained. I was just gonna go in and just, you know, basically he was living off of fear. Like everybody was scared to fight him like that. But it was like he had a father figure in Cuss. You see what I'm saying? So it was like the person that was gonna make you, he wasn't gonna let him slack up. You see what I'm saying? And then when after Cuss died, it was like, okay, Mike, it's just like, all right, I'm just living off of what I got right now. I'm not getting.
He had a bunch of do boys in his corner after that too. That they were letting him, and Mike, and then you got Don King robbing them, and then you got Robin Gibbs in the situation, all that kind of shit. Now, to be fair, he did win that Buster Douglas fight. If you go watch that fight, Mike Tyson knocked that motherfucker down. He knocked Buster Douglas down. They did a long count. They counted to like 11. If you counted yourself, the shit gonna go to 11. At least 11. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it shouldn't have been that close. But that boy Buster Douglas had lost his mama, and that motherfucker was in shape.
Okay.
And he was putting them left and right on Mike motherfucking ass.
Like when he laid him down, like that one of the prettiest lay downs I seen in a minute. Like he boom, 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 just laid him down. Like how he finished there. I was like, damn, Buster wasn't playing that fight. He was fighting for his mom. I could tell, and like in his eyes. But it's like that's the Mike that didn't have no guidance. It was like, okay, Mike, we're just gonna let you do what you do. Most motherfuckers scared of you because they don't want to go with you. But if somebody start hitting you back, he don't have nobody on his team that'll be like, Mike, basically, I think after Cuss died, his growth died. That's why I was saying, like, it's like, okay, you ain't learning later parts of the shit because you getting people in that's not really, they just there to get a paycheck. You see what I'm saying? They not in tune with you like how the guy that brought you in the family. Like, you see what I'm saying? So that's why I can't take it away though.
And that's one of the most fucked up things about Don King too, though, because he took advantage of black men mostly. I don't know personally of a white dude that be saying I got ripped off by Don King. Everybody I be hearing from Zab Judah, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, goddamn, so many motherfuckers that got fucked over by this man, and then, but that's on Mike too. You know what I'm saying? As you see what did happen to folks in the past. You shouldn't go with it, folks. And then you not trusting the folks, and you don't have good people in your corner and all that kind of shit. But to your point, if he would have kept on that arc, he possibly could have been. He had some natural deficiencies with his height and his short arms, but he was technically stellar under D'Amato. In terms of all the shit we wish Nate Robinson would have done. Nate should have went and watched some early Tyson shit and see how Tyson was technically, you can argue he was a defensive fighter. I know he was knocking motherfuckers out. He was special. But that motherfucker, boy, was talking about this shit. Movement.
That
he ain't got no, I bet his size just you know how some people be getting that little chub on your sides and shit. I mean, that motherfucker ain't got nothing because he can do this.
Them hands on their chin, peekaboo.
What? And he go, and when he unload that right hook to the body, followed by that right uppercut to the chin.
Then he had that left. You know what I'm saying? He had that left too. So that's why I was saying Mike was cold. It just that if he would have stayed, like if he had that original team, ain't no telling where he would have went. That's why I said, like, I was like, to me, it depends on what Mike. But if we just gonna talk about just overall career, I can't put him over Ali because Ali was Ali. You see what I'm saying? But like, I'm like, if somebody want to argue and say, all right, you put that Mike, that focus Mike against him, if they can argue, I still probably won't agree with it, but they can argue that and say,
I just don't see him getting inside because Ali gonna hold your ass. Ali will hold there's a lot of Ali fights I watched that was not that exciting. You love it just because he crazy. He might talk to the crowd during the minute, in between round shit. But the actual fight, if a motherfucker got in on that ass, he was gonna hug your motherfucking ass. Like Ray Ray used to do on fight night. What up, Ray Ray? I hope they bring out a fight night on PS5. And if they do, don't be hugging me, motherfucker. Take his ass with me like you used to do back down there in Hattiesburg.
He swear he the coach.
Man, you beat the brakes out that motherfucker, man.
Go. Subscribe to our daddy's YouTube channel. He's the best. Hit the like button, turn on the notifications.